Hello besties, I hope you're doing well. This is going to be a big video. If you are subscribed to me, you'll have noticed I have not uploaded since the start of October, and it's nearly the end of October, and there are a few reasons why that is, and a lot has happened in the past few weeks. This video is going to be a really long video explaining what all these updates are and what they're going to mean. The reason why I need to tell you all this up front is because the things that have happened are going to change the trajectory of the content I'm going to be making on this channel. It will all make sense. It's a lot to go through. I'd recommend you grab a snack, grab a drink, chill. I've got a drink. Got this lemon tea. It's very nice. I nearly finished it. Oh my god, where do I start? Okay, so I have 4 big major updates. They all span from the first update I'm going to tell you all. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a short version of each of these updates so that if you've subscribed to me and you kind of want to know what's going to go on but you don't want to watch the entire video, which I get, because it's going to be a long one, I'm just going to do a condensed version of each update. You can just watch the next few minutes. I'll timestamp everything, and then I will do a deep dive into all the reasons going forwards, so then you'll have context as to why everything's happened in that exact way. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so major update number 1, and it's probably what I'm going to title the video as, is I got the unfortunate news a few weeks ago that I'm going to be laid off from my full-time job, which sucks. It sucks. And because of that, it has now led to all the other updates I'm going to give you, and we'll go into that. A short update, yeah, I am being laid off from my job. So yeah, I'm still technically employed at this point in time, but I'm not going to be for much longer. The second update is I'm going to be moving out. Me and my husband, obviously because of this news, at this point in time, neither of us will be employed. Obviously renting a place doesn't really work very well in that scenario. So yeah, we are going to be moving out. These updates are going to get more and more wild as we progress. I am realizing after the situation that I am just a really unconventional person. But update number 3. Am I going to actually say this? So I'm going to be starting my own business with my husband, because I'm being laid off. I've basically got 2 options. I can either look for another job or start working for myself. And I've really wanted to work for myself for a long time actually, and I feel like now is a good opportunity to do it without rushing into something else right away. That is the third update. Are you ready for the last one? Which is probably as or more wild than the third one is, as I mentioned in my second update, we're going to be moving out. So where are we going to be moving to? So we are going to be moving to Asia next year, which is insane because at the start of October, that was so not what the plan was at all. We were gonna stay here for a while, but I know Asia is a continent, not a country. I say Asia because the plan is we actually want to travel around Asia. We want to kind of essentially digital nomad style while we run this business together. So yeah, those are my 4 massive updates in a nutshell. Because of all those 4 things, that is going to massively change the kind of content I'm going to be making on this channel. To be fair, I've only just started this channel. I've only done 3 videos, but I had a very clear niche in mind for this channel and what it was going to be. Intention was I had a work from home job and I was going to do cozy content about working from home, because I do not have a job now and we're going to be moving out. That doesn't really work anymore. So the content I'm going to be doing going forwards, it will still be vlog style, but it's going to transition over to sharing the journey of starting and running a business and traveling and being a digital nomad. So that is a complete opposite kind of what this content was. So to give you a heads up, if you subscribe to me for the few cozy vlogs I've done, there still will be opportunities I'm sure I can do cozy stuff in between, but the new kind of form of content I'll be doing is vlogging, traveling around Asia and running a business. I will say the big end goal for me and my husband is to eventually settle down and get a house, and when I get that house I definitely want to do that kind of cozy content again because I love doing it. On the flip side, I've always wanted to travel and I've always wanted to kind of do travel content as well. I just didn't think I'd have the opportunity to do it, so that's why I was kind of gonna dedicate myself to this cozy content instead. But life's funny, isn't it? And things happen. So in a nutshell, this is all you kind of need to know going forwards, that like my content is going to change to that. So we're still going to be in this flat until the end of November, so I can definitely still squeeze out like a few cozy vlogs in between now and then from like end of November. It's basically going to transition over to like travel content and running a business content. Still be vlog style, but like that's going to be the premise. So if that interests you, by all means please stick around. Something else as well is I'll be able to be a lot more active and make more content than I was gonna, because I won't have a job. I'll be working for myself. I'll be completely in control of my time, which is exciting. This is all you need to watch. If you don't want to watch the whole thing, that should give you the gist, and then you won't be kind of confused with the following videos. If you're interested in hearing all the deep dive about like how I got laid off, why we decided to move to Asia, what our business is going to be, stay tuned. I'm going to go into all that now. So I'm now going to story time into how I found myself in this position of being laid off from my job. So October 1st was a normal day at work, completely fine. October 2nd, morning was fine. Then everyone in the company gets an email from the CEO saying, unfortunately, we're going to have to do a round of redundancies. Because the CEO emailed that to the entire company, that implied to me that it was going to be happening to a lot of us, and I found out that was the case. Actually, a third of the company I work for are being laid off. I am one of those people, unfortunately. I know that now. On that day, all the email said was, your manager will be in touch with you to confirm your employment status by the end of the day. And naturally, like, no one could kind of focus once that email came, and all the meetings that day got cancelled. I got an email about an hour and a half after the one from the CEO came with a meeting invite, and it was with my manager and HR. And having HR invite to your email is never good, so I was kind of mentally prepared for the worst. I don't know how it works in other countries, but in the UK, if an employer wants to make an employee redundant, if the employee hasn't worked for the company for more than 2 years, the legal minimum notice they can give you is 1 week. I've been made redundant before, and when I was made redundant before, my boss at the time gave me 1 week's notice. I thought that was going to happen to me, so at that point I kind of thought, oh great, I've got like a week and that's it, and then like I'm gone. So when I go into the call with my manager and HR, and my manager like says, you know, thanks for joining the call, thanks for making the time, yada yada. The company's like not doing well, which I knew it wasn't. So the redundancies in general wasn't really a shock to me. I'd kind of been expecting it for a while, but then he then went on to say my role was at risk, and I thought, oh, at risk means I still have it then. And I asked that, and they were like, yes, you are still employed. What we're going to do is we're going to put you on a redundancy consultation period, which was basically a week-long period where they tell me that I'm at risk, and then we can explore ways to avoid that happening. I was like, okay, like when I was made redundant before, I didn't get that. It was just, you're being made redundant, you have a week left. That week happened, week passed, had another call, and they confirmed nothing had changed in that week, which I knew it wasn't gonna change because they literally would have needed some massive miracle. Yeah, a week later that happened, and then they told me, yeah, sorry, you're being made redundant. So yeah, and that's happening. A bunch of my other co-workers as well. So yeah, in terms of like the news of just that happening, it honestly wasn't a shock to me, and I've been expecting it with my company honestly since May. Like since May, I think I've been aware the company's not been in the best place, and probably everyone else has been aware because it's not hard to figure that out. I definitely would not have like voluntarily left the company. Like it was a really good job. I did like working there. I liked my team. It wasn't perfect, but it was, you know, a really good job. So yeah, I definitely wouldn't have quit it at this point in time myself. Whereas other jobs I've had, like I really did not want to be at them anymore, but that wasn't the case with this job. I really liked this job. I'm gonna, you know, leave on good terms with everyone because I get it, you know, if you can't afford the staff, you can't afford the staff, is what it is. So that then leads on to the fact of my second update, which is that we're going to be moving out of our flat. So we currently rent a 2-bedroom flat in Liverpool, and you know what, I've got a story time about this that I'm still like honestly like mentally scarred by, so I'm gonna go into it. So like when we got the news, like we kind of figured out all our options. So option one, me and my husband could both look for jobs again because my husband left his job in April. I've kind of been supporting us since, and he's actually getting the business that I mentioned started, so he's kind of been working on that. But obviously businesses take time to get going, so I was kind of supporting us both while we got that set up, and now I don't have my job, like that's not gonna work anymore, so we could either both look at getting jobs again. But the problem with that is getting jobs nowadays as designers is like tough. It can take a long time nowadays as well. Like I have no idea how long it could take us in this job market. Like being a designer is just really like ugh. So yeah, that was an option. There was also a consideration that and this happened to both me and my husband, that we've had jobs before that were like we really did not enjoy. They were like really horrific for our mental health. I was very lucky with the job I still technically have right now, the job I'm being laid off from. That didn't affect my mental health badly at all. Like it was like a really nice environment with a really nice team, and I got to work remotely, so it's probably the only job that hasn't like negatively affected my mental health, whereas like all the other ones I've had in the past like did one way or another, and same for my husband. So we're very hesitant of that happening again, because it's just a really horrible situation to be in. It wasn't like our first choice kind of thing. Second option was, there was that option, like we kind of used what savings we have left and tried to look for things like around here or remote or whatever. As I mentioned, like my husband had actually started this business that I'm now going to be joining in August, and something we both really want to give a go. So we figured now's a good opportunity to do it, but to be able to do that, we need to not live here, because renting a flat when we don't have any guaranteed income isn't great. We don't want to do that. So we decided we need to move to like save money. We like planned like for a good 2 weeks and like discussed it with our families, like this is what we wanted to do. They were all on board, and all of our families have been incredibly supportive. I'm so grateful for like families. If you're going through this yourself, like I think just having family and support like is everything. So if any of you are watching, thank you so much for all your support you've given us throughout this process. So we like planned all this out, planned where we're going to move next, and then we had like a list of things to do. One of those things was telling the company we rent our flat from that we want to move out. So I've done this in the past before, where like we wanted to end our tenancy early, and every time I've done it, we just emailed the landlord, explained the situation, and they were like, cool, no problem, so long as like we can find another tenant and you let us have access to the flat, yada yada, it was all fine. So I thought that would be the case with this flat. I send the email, I say, hey, we want to end our tenancy, this is the day we want to move out, and it's like more than a month away. So I was like, we've given them a big heads up. I get an email back from the letting manager, and they're like, because you've signed a 12-month tenancy and it's only November, we signed the tenancy in May, you still have 6 months left, and because there's no break clause, you have to stay, and therefore we will not end your tenancy, and it will end on May 30th, 2025. And that shook me, because I didn't know that was a thing. And yeah, even now talking about it, I was just like, holy shit. I then emailed them back and I was like, is there any way we can negotiate this at all? Like, we would really, really appreciate it. And they were like, sorry, that's the contract. I know it's not what you want to hear, but we have contracts in place and we have to stick to them. And I was like, shit, we're stuck here paying rent for like a flat that we don't want to be in, and neither of us have jobs. Like, it's just, it feels like it shouldn't be legal, honestly, like to put people in that situation. And I was just like, oh my god, we have to be here for another 6 months. I didn't know like contracts could do that for like tenancies. I thought so long as you were like open and like told them like you could go, like if something came up or if a situation happened. So yeah, I was destroyed over that, and we told our families. I told my mum, like she could see I was very upset by this, and she's an absolute angel, because she kind of, then we told her all about this, and then she actually emailed the CEO of like the entire, there's like our company and then there's another company who runs our company. It's like a bunch of them. She found the CEO of that, emailed them, explained our situation, that like we both lost our jobs, we have to move home, we can't afford to pay the rent, I know there's no break clause, but can you please reconsider? CEO was so nice and lovely and said I wouldn't want to add to their burden. They contacted the lettings manager, and then the lettings manager told us, we're sorry to hear about your circumstances, we'll end your tenancy, we'll re-advertise the flat. And I was like just crying, honestly. Like I was so relieved, because I literally felt, I was like some of the worst news like I think I could have received. Like that was way worse than finding out I was losing my job. Like finding out I have to stay like paying rent somewhere when I don't have a job. My husband doesn't have a job either. Like really shitty to be in that situation, to be honest. So yeah, if you're someone who's renting, a big piece of advice, please check if your tenancy has a break clause, and if it doesn't, ask for one before you sign it, because otherwise like you might find yourself in the situation where you're forced to stay a certain amount of time. And yeah, it's just wild that like that's a thing. Like then needs to be some sort of like, you know, if you lose your job, if someone dies, if you break up with your partner and need to move, like if any of those situations happen, they should be lenient. Like it's people's homes, like, and lives. So just thank God for my mum calling. She emailed the CEO, like thank God she did that. So yeah, we can leave. Like thank the Lord we can leave. And I will always make sure if we ever rent anywhere again that there is a break clause, or we discuss like if something happens you'll let us leave, because that literally felt like almost like a prison sentence, but one I had to pay for, which ugh, yeah. So I will definitely still film a few more cozy vlogs while I'm here and while I have my lovely desk. In September I was so like, oh my job's fine, I can start like, you know, renovating the flat, because since we moved here like I didn't bother with that stuff, but I was going to go all out. I'm so glad I didn't, because now we have to leave. And as I mentioned, we're not just moving, like we're moving across the world, so we're gonna have to sell like basically all our stuff. So I'm just glad I didn't go too crazy. You're probably wondering, okay, like fine, you want to move to Asia, but isn't that going to be really expensive? Like probably more expensive than renting your flat. And how that's gonna work is, so my mother and father-in-law, they live in Macau. If you haven't heard of Macau, it's like a really small little country, like near Hong Kong and China. They live there. They've offered to let us stay with them for a bit, which is amazing. So we're gonna take that opportunity, because we're running our own business. We don't have to be in the UK. We can kind of be anywhere because of what the business is gonna be. It's a business that we can run from any country. So we thought we should take this opportunity and we could stay with them, and instead of having to pay money renting somewhere, like we can use our savings to travel and run our business at the same time. And I thought that was just like a really cool opportunity, and it means like the savings we have can last so much longer than what they would have, because we can kind of like stay with my in-laws or travel, or you know, come back home and like rent at home and give this business a go, because we really had a long discussion about like what we want, and we really want to try to give this business a go. Like both of us really want to work for ourselves, but with businesses they take time. So I just feel like if we don't do it, especially me, if I don't do it now, I just don't think I will. I'll just stay like having to go from job to job. So I really want to try it, you know. And we both said, you know, if it doesn't work out, at least we tried, and we can still come back and try and get jobs again. Like that option is always there. Whereas if we like miss this opportunity to travel and start the business now and not let it grow sooner, it's just preventing it. So yeah, that's what we've decided. And something else that's great about Macau as well, it's very close to a lot of other countries in Asia, and I've always wanted to travel around Asia. Like it's been like a massive dream of mine for ages. The plan right now, so in December, this was already planned like in January this year. So in December we're going to Hong Kong, Macau and Thailand. So we're already gonna be in Asia anyway, because we're getting married. That's happening too, by the way. We are already legally married, but that was a whole thing as well. Having a wedding in Thailand, that was meant to be our main reception, but now it's basically become a second wedding. So yeah, that's happening. Then the plan is, I'm gonna come back home in December to spend Christmas and like New Year's with my mom, and then my husband's gonna stay in Macau with his parents, and then I'm gonna come back in January, and we want to stay in Macau, like, and we'll visit Hong Kong as well, I'm sure, from like January, February. Still ironing out exactly where we want to go and for how long, but the countries earmarked right now are Japan, South Korea and Vietnam. I'd like to also squeeze in Singapore and Taiwan. Yeah, those are like the 5 I really want to do. Particularly Japan, South Korea are the top 2. So it depends how much budget we have to play with, and Japan is like the #1. So yeah, there'll be vlogs around Asia. That's why I wanted to say Asia, because I don't know right now how long we're going to be in each place for. It's all very play by ear kind of thing, but yeah, so we'll be traveling around. However, long and much we can afford to. Hoping something will turn up while we're traveling and like we can work. It'll be kind of like working, and I want to do content creation as well, so kind of grow like that. So kind of scary, but very exciting at the same time. What's great is like with a UK passport, we can spend like a good amount of time in a lot of these countries without needing a visa. Oh, Indonesia is another country I'd like to go to as well, if we can squeeze it in. Maybe the Philippines. Like, yeah, I've not been to much of Asia, and it's like I'm so fascinated by it, and there's so many countries I want to go to. So yeah, with UK passports, you can spend a good chunk of time in a lot of these countries as well, and like we bring our laptops, and then kind of I'd much rather like, you know, put money that could have been towards a rent towards staying in a country for a month. Like we won't be super bougie about it, we'll be budget friendly, let's say. But yeah, do it that way. The last piece of this puzzle is regarding this business I'm going to be running. What is this business going to be? So in a nutshell, it's going to be a branding and web design agency. I'm going to be running it with my husband. He actually, we called it a soft launch, but he did in August. And yeah, essentially, he's also a designer. I don't know if I've mentioned that, but he's like a graphic designer, and I'm a web and UX designer. So works pretty well. We can kind of combine our talents to create an agency together. I'm gonna go into more what this agency is. Like, it's already branded, we have a website and a name and everything, which I'll reveal in like a later video. It's a branding and web design agency, which means we can run it entirely remotely. You don't have to have an office or anything, and our intention is to like work with clients all over the world. We actually already have 2 clients that my husband secured us from like referrals, and we're already working on those projects. So it's already doing something, and now that people know, like, people are kind of, we're popping into people's heads, and that's only just from my husband's contacts, because I haven't told anyone myself, but now I'm going to tell my own contacts, so maybe I can get us a few more clients as well, and I'm definitely going to talk about it on all my socials and share the entire journey, because I love watching entrepreneur content myself. Like, pretty much everyone I admire is an entrepreneur, and it's something I've always wanted to do. And like, so yeah, my plan is to kind of share content about running this business and also traveling. Like, it's 2 big dreams I want to achieve for myself, so I will definitely share more. You'll see more about me running the business and what it is, because it's going to be a big part of like what I want to share on this channel going forward. So with all of that being said, the future of this channel, there will still be a few more cozy vlogs while I'm still here during November, and you'll kind of see us like preparing to move out, all that stuff. I'm gonna share everything, and I'll share like kind of us planning our trip and running our business together, and that's gonna kind of be the new content I share going forwards. It'll still be vlog style, but it won't just be me being cozy at home, it'll be me on the move and on the go. So yeah, if that interests you, please stick around. If you were here for the cozy home content, I will kindly ask, check back in like, I don't know how long it's gonna be, like 1 to however many years when we do get a house, because it's very much the end goal. But at this point in time, it's a higher priority for me to give this business a go. Like, it's something I will really regret not trying if I don't. And if I don't do it, I feel like it'll haunt me forever. So I'm just gonna give it a go. I feel like you have to with businesses. They're very much, you know, I think it's always going to be risky to run a business, and if it's not, like, you probably waited too long to do it, kind of thing. So YOLO, we born, we're gonna try it, and I will share the entire journey. We might hate it, you know, we might not like running our own business, might not like all the things that come along with it. Neither of us have done it. Sometime in the future I'll be doing like job hunting vlogs on job hunting content, if that's what I end up deciding is best. We shall see. And yeah, that's my massive long yap session. I really hope you weren't too bored by it. If you did manage to get to the end and watch the whole thing, please leave me, what emoji? Leave me the bear emoji in the comments if you got this far. What is my life? I don't know, but this is it. I'm gonna share everything, because I've always wanted to do YouTube, like, and I feel like this is the first time. I've tried to start channels many times before. I feel like this is the first time where I actually felt like I had a good flow and a good rhythm, and now I can grow it into something else. So I'm really excited about that. And because I'll now be working for myself, I won't have this kind of, oh, I don't want my employer to find out, or I don't want my coworkers to find out. I can be unapologetically me. Very much looking forward to that, to be honest. Like, I've never kind of been in this position, so we shall see what the future holds. But thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry this wasn't like the kind of same kind of content I was doing before, and I'm probably going to be doing much of that going forwards. But if you are interested in all the things I mentioned, stick around. I will do my best to make sure it's interesting, that's for sure. For the next vlog on this channel, I'll probably do like a weekly vlog or a daily vlog next week of like doing my last working week at my job. And then yeah, it'll be organising, having to move, planning our trip next year to Asia, and setting up the business and properly announcing that everywhere. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one, which will be a bit less chaotic. I say that, probably won't be. Probably gonna be a bit of chaos here onwards, but we love a bit of chaos, right? Yeah, catch you in the next one. Bye!